Hello, Michigan fans. This is Andrew Kahn for MLive.com here in the Big House after Michigan's 31-10 victory over Washington as the Wolverines improved to 2-0. Yeah, I wanted to get this thing started as quickly as possible. So I'll be looking forward to seeing the comments and any questions you all have about this game. It's well after midnight already. But yeah, this was a very impressive performance from Michigan. Washington, as I'm sure you all know, lost to Montana last week, an FCS team. So they were down and perhaps not all that good, but still a Pac-12 team with a lot of talent on this roster. This team was very competitive in the Pac-12 and nationally past several years. There's future NFL players on this roster. And Michigan sort of, manhandled them on both sides of the ball. The running game in particular was what you'd be impressed about. 343 yards on the ground. Blake Corum goes for 171. Son Haskins goes for 155. Kind of similar to last game in that regard. Just talked to Washington head coach Jimmy Lake. And he basically said they couldn't stop Michigan from running. They gave Michigan no reason to try to pass. Like, as a coach, you talk about wanting to make a team one-dimensional by taking away something, but if it's not the run right from the start, then it's tough. So yeah, the thing that didn't go so well for Michigan, and I expect to maybe see some comments about this, is of course the passing game. Cade McNamara played the entire game, unlike last week where you saw J.J. McCarthy come in the third quarter. McNamara was 7 for 15 for 44 yards. That is not good. You want to be much more efficient than that. He did not look particularly sharp. But it's a balance. I don't want to just say they didn't need it, so it's acceptable from Michigan's standpoint. But 15 attempts is not a lot. There weren't that many opportunities that he missed. I saw a couple. There was one, I think, first quarter. He threw incomplete down the left side, and he had a receiver, San Ristol, I believe it was, kind of running down the seam open, and he just missed him. He sort of locked in on his wide receiver, it seemed like, from the snap. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't doing anything to lose the game for Michigan. And again, their ground game was so good, it was sort of hard to get into a passing rhythm. Defensively for Michigan, again, I mean, they only give up 10 points, shutout for the first half. Washington's quarterback 20 for 37. Washington, on the other hand, could get no ground game going. And you saw Michigan's pass rush really bother Washington. In the end, they had 4 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson credited with 2.5 of those. He was a monster for much of the night. And Michigan is now 2-0. They'll need more to beat some of the better teams they have coming up down the line in the schedule, but it was certainly more than good enough for tonight. As far as the atmosphere, it's sort of in the press box, things are a little muted for us as far as how much we can really hear the crowd and everything, but the energy was clearly there. And as far as the maze out, it was a great success. I mean, it was all yellow in that stands, other than the small pockets of purple that were given to Washington fans. But so the energy for this road game was good, and it certainly made a difference. I mean, Washington, very first play of the game, delay a game, and their players and coach just spoke about how it was an issue early in the game. They felt like they settled in, did better in the second half, but by then it honestly might have been too late for them. It's worth noting Washington, had a COVID shortened season last year, as so many teams did. Did not have a road game among their games last year. So this was the first road game. Forget that there were no fans in the stands. They didn't even play, away from their stadium last season. So for their freshmen and sophomores, this was their first road game, and one of the better environments I'm sure that they've played in for any of the players on their team. I mean, I think it's worth noting how the rest of the Big Ten has looked. You know, we all know Wisconsin struggled and lost in their first game, and then Ohio State, you know, this week loses to Oregon. Suddenly, maybe you can start thinking about the Michigan's place in the Big Ten pecking order and maybe moving them up a couple notches than you might have thought at the start of the season. As far as any, you know, other things from this game, the fake punt Michigan deployed, you know, somewhat early, 9:50 or so left in the second quarter. They were in their own territory. I mean, I think about if Michigan doesn't get that, what you could be saying about Jim Harbaugh's decision there, because the defense was playing so well, Washington wasn't moving the ball. Why give them such good field position? But I mean, that's not really how you should think if you want to be aggressive. Michigan didn't. Snapped it directly to Michael Barrett, who was a quarterback in high school at one point. You know, you've seen him with the ball in his hands here during his Michigan career before. You know, only needed a few yards and he got it. The very next play, Blake Corum rips off a long touchdown run. So again, Washington's coach Jimmy Lake just talked about how big a momentum play that was. You know, for Washington to think they had it. You know, they had a first down on their previous possession only for the call to get overturned, and now they think they've got Michigan off the field. You know, on third down, instead Michigan, you know, does the fake punt. Very next play, long touchdown. That was huge. Michigan was kind of off and running from there. So yeah, I mean, it's a 31-10 win. You can say what you want about Washington now, but it doesn't really matter. These are the two games they've had on their schedule. They won them both. They've got Northern Illinois next week, Rutgers after that. We talked about a lot on our Wolverine Confidential podcast that I recommend you subscribe and listen to, how important this game was for Michigan, given the rest of their schedule. Yeah, I think that you know, to get this win is huge. You know, I'm seeing some comments about the opening up the offense, getting the quarterback some confidence, a little bit of conservative. It was very conservative play calling. There's no doubt about that. When the run game is working like it is, when you can have touchdown drives where you never have to put the ball in the air, why would you? I guess is what I'd say. You know, much more likely to have turnovers when you throw the ball and things like that. Now you want to build them confidence, but you know, I think last week you had some of that, and you know, the hope is that next week you can, you know, you could try to get some more of that as well. So it was a very important game for Michigan and a big win. Yeah, they'll head into week 3, 2-0, with Northern Illinois visiting the Big House next Saturday. All right. Stay tuned for more coverage on mlive.com here. We're already technically into Sunday, but so early Sunday morning. And then, you know, when you wake up as well tomorrow, there'll be some fresh stories for you. So thanks for watching.